Alright everyone, Figfather here. This is a non-fig video. This will be a honeybee video. Alright. This is our apiary, Golden Nectar Apiaries. I'm waiting on my buddy Thad to show up. We're going to go and we got some honey supers on. We're going to put a few more on there and then we're going to treat with oxalic acid. Anyone that does honeybees knows that varroa mites are very destructive, and if you don't treat for them, you're just not gonna have successful hives, you know. So we got to come in here and mow and stuff and take care of some of the weeds and stuff. I like to not mow for a while, that way, like over here we have flowers and stuff for them to forage. We got a bunch of trees here in bloom. We're in the Cook County Forest Preserves, not in the forest preserves but adjacent to them. So these things, they go out and they get, you know, nectar from whatever's blooming in the woods. So we have wild forest honey. So after this is done blooming, we'll go in and mow it back down and everything. But yeah, we'll get in there. You might see my screen with my bee suit, so hopefully that won't obstruct vision too much. I got a crack in it, so I had to tape it up, otherwise they'll get in there. But let's get to that. All right, we got Dad showed up finally over here, checking out. He's not worried about getting stung. I've never been stung. He's been stung a whole bunch, so he doesn't fear the sting anymore. But we got the boxes and stuff. We're gonna start loading up. All right, we're here working. Got a logo on everything. Golden Nectar Apiaries. We have 3 different hives. We have a traditional Langstoth hive. Then this is a cedar hive, the flow hive. We just don't use the flow box anymore. We were having issues with it, so it's an 8-frame regular. And then this is our thermo Apimaye beehive. I like this one a lot. And then we're going to treat with Varroxsan. All right, this is a cardboard that's been inoculated with oxalic acid that's been infused into glycerin. So we're going to set these over the frames and then it's going to treat. This is food safe and everything, so we don't have to worry about nothing. So let's get these cracked. We're going to get some smoke on them. Let's open up and see what we got going on. We got bee brush, hive tool, and let's see what we have over here. Yep, we're starting to fill out a honey box. Got to put the tops back on here. And this is a honey super. We have a queen excluder in the middle so the queen doesn't come up and lay eggs in these. We want them to fill this completely with honey. But we got nice drawn out comb and they're just doing their thing, filling as much as they can. All right, we just put some strips on the bottom. We're going to put some strips over here. These 2 boxes we like to leave 2 deeps for the brood chamber. Some people like to go to just 1 single deep. We just don't like it. We like to give them more room so the colony is a little bit bigger. As you can see, we have a ton of bees in here. They are packed full in here. So this is the stuff. We just go ahead and drape it over the frames. It takes a minute to get them in there, but they'll rub against this stuff. They'll get the oxalic acid on them. Mites will drop off. And usually there's 3 things that we use. We use Apivar at the end of the season, formic strips mid-season, and then we're using these at the beginning of the season. The formic and these are food grade, food safe. The Apivar is not. That's why we use it at the end of the season for when we go ahead and get them ready for winter. So everything's looking good. They're really, really happy. Very happy bees. Look at this. We're going to give them another box because it looks like they're crowding out. So we'll get into the other hives momentarily. All right, this is the 8-frame thermo hive, cedar hive. We got them all put in here. As you can see, these that are a little bit bulbous, those are drone frames. Male bees. No good for anything other than breeding with the queen and everything. But they're being tended to. It looks like we got some honey stores over here. Everything's looking real good. We'll get the queen excluder back on. All right, and then Dad is going to put the honey super back on this so they can start filling her out with some honey. Right there. There's the one. Gotta get rid of these weeds. These things are like gnarly. But we'll get this one back on, and we're gonna give another frame or another box with frames from the fill out over here. Not bad hives. Like I said, just the flow box. It was our first hive. You know, I think a lot of people got them. After you get more hives, you know, the whole cracking and stuff, it's easier to just get an extractor. And then we also have a moisture box that we custom built on top of here. We got to put the screening on the bottom, but it's just canvas with some holes on the side that we put screening in, and we filled it with cedar shavings. You know, you get it PetSmart, you know, the bedding and stuff. So what happens is they're gonna create a convection. So the board's screened. They're gonna pull air in. It's gonna come out as they evaporate the nectar and everything. The cedar shavings are gonna absorb that moisture, and then the wind's gonna blow through and help evaporate it out. It's not really needed for, I'd say, summer. We just keep them on. They're more for the winter. It helps insulate, almost like an attic. And the one thing that'll kill bees is moisture condensation dripping down in the winter. So this sort of helps absorb that moisture, and it evacuates through here. So happy bees. All right, let's get to the traditional Langstoth. All right, as we can see,
I do all the work around here.
Absolutely, you know, management over here. You know, you got to make sure that you're
and students.
Yeah, all right. So these are doing great too. You can see hives are happy. These are Italian honeybees, by the way. I know there's different varieties like the Saskatchats and the Italian, the Carniolans, Russian honeybees, which we don't have because it can be a little aggressive.
Africanized.
Yeah, well, you know, luckily we're not in the Africanized zone or anything. So we're going to put 2 on the bottom, split 1 frame apart, and then these are going to, the other 4 are going to go on top of everything. So, well, these leaned a little bit. So, yeah, that's all right. We'll get them fixed. All right, and let's get these treated up as well. All right, as we can see, we pulled a frame just to show everyone the brood pattern. This is pollen that they put around the nest, or the brood. Here's the brood, and then it fills with honey around it. So they'll mix the honey with the pollen and make bee bread that they feed the larvae. Some of these aren't capped, as you can see, and you can see the larvae in them, like right there. This right here, this bubble stuff, that's drone. Those are the male bees, like I said. Everything else is worker. We got no queen cells or anything like that, so looks like she's laying. She's doing real good. She's real happy. Look at this. Solid brood pattern all throughout. Looks like this just hatched out not too long ago. All right, looking good. All right, we got everything taken care of. They've been treated. We got honey supers on. We're collecting spring honey right now. Looks like the Thermo hive has 1 box almost completely filled. The other one's halfway. What do you think, T?
Thermo's almost filled. Yeah, that's the one hive that was overwintered, so it's going to fill boxes a lot faster than the 2 hives that we started with packages in late April.
Yeah, late March. Because we lost 2 of the hives over winter varroa. You know, we treat and stuff, but yeah, you can't treat the same stuff. You have to alternate, so the mites don't build up a resistance to everything.
Plus, if you know other hives in the area aren't treating their bees, then you know the drones all commingle. Like Antonio was saying, the male bees, while they don't do nothing but propagate with the female queens, they do go from hive to hive, so they're not they're able to go in all kinds of hives. So if your neighbor's not treating for mites, they're bringing mites into your hive when the drones come in.
So treat your bees.
Yep,
and be kind to everyone else. All right. That is all for today, you know, and that's it. Hey, T, you know, you kind of look like my buddy Chuck. Figfather out.